Just we spoke a bit about this in the last podcast too, but I don't want to say one thing about England. Okay, the thing with England is what I saw was the way in which their performance it sort of went lower and lower as the series went on. They did so well in the first match, and by the time it got to the last match at Masala, they were they just their margins of losing kept getting bigger and bigger as they went along. And not just that, probably more than that, even the style, the manner in which they're losing it kept getting worse. And I think, see, whenever whenever a team goes to play in foreign conditions, they may not be able to win or to win all the time. It's rare that a foreign team wins a full like series, but there's so much more that the visiting team can do. Maybe they can improve their technique. Maybe they can take the losses and improve on them. Maybe they can improve individual players' form and everything. In that regard, I think this in this series, England have they got pretty much nothing from this series, according to me, apart from Shoaib the Bashir. Um, Apart from him, as maybe you can even mention the Tom Hartley, but I think if beyond these two, they were so obsessed with the so-called Bazball technique, and they never altered their approach, and they just kept getting worse and worse. And I don't think, as a team, I don't think they improved in this series. So I think that's the biggest loss for them. Coming to India is a good opportunity for them to improve themselves as a team, and I think that's something which they haven't done. So even more than the 4-1 loss, I think it's this thing that's the biggest loss for them. What do you think?
So for me, it was again, me and Adrit already made a video on this for the first test match. I was a bit more on this. I was a bit more supportive of baseball, but as the test series progressed, I thought it was not baseball anymore because I thought it was too reckless. Because when I first saw the way England have implemented this whole baseball theory as a whole, I mean, pretty they don't like to call it as baseball, but anyway, it was just a phrase came out of nowhere. But I say that maybe around after the third test match, the last two test matches that England played, they were completely outplayed by India. I thought they didn't. I thought it was not baseball. It was just too reckless because baseball wasn't supposed to be reckless. It was supposed to be just positive. Trying to be aggressive but not being reckless. I thought they were too reckless, and it's not just this series, but maybe in past few instances, somewhere, maybe in few test matches or here or there. Um, you already saw a bit of a collapse in the middle order because this whole test series has been predicated on the England's middle order collapse, and it exposed big time. But this is not the first time this happened because there were instances, especially even when baseball made its even when Ben Stokes made his debut as captain. um, the middle order, the whole batting order had a major collapse. They didn't score a lot of runs. So, and at times, they even against some good bowling sides, they struggled to score a lot of runs. They have collapses, and this series completely opened the floodgates of just that batting order collapse. And I would give the positives for England. I thought that Zach Crawley really stepped up this series, even though this series was pretty much Yashasvi Jaiswal's breakout series, his coming out party. But for England, I think the one positive, or I would give two positives. I would say Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley, especially. That is, those two have really given England some good stability in their batting order. Their opening combination worked out okay. In the middle order, Joe Root actually redeemed himself in the second half of the series. That's another positive. And of course, like Prithvi mentioned, Shoaib Bashir. He really proved himself of how good a spinner he is, and I think he's going to be the future England spinner that spinner that they would usually have, whether it's Swan or maybe Panesar. someone like that. We thought Dom Best was going to be that guy, but that wasn't to be. But right now, I think Shoaib Bashir should be groomed and be probably one of those pillars of the England team, being that striking bowler, that spinning option that they would have. But for India is concerned, it's what a comeback they had for down 0-1 and to win the remaining four test matches, especially the second and third test match. With the way things panned out, it was a close game, both sides. Third test match obviously was a Drew Jurel show, or you can call it, and yeah, and if you want to
Pretty sure.
call the fifth test match being that dominant, Rohit Sharma had a second 100 in the series. Shubman Gill also had a second 100 in the series. Shubman Gill came back to life, and he is now going to be going to bat at number three for the foreseeable future. I think Yashasvi Jaiswal, it's a major test upcoming ahead for him, playing in Australian conditions, which I think will suit him more because since his tall frame and the way he can handle any kind of delivery, whether it's short or anything full, especially with the bouncing conditions here in Australia, I think it will favor him a lot. So I think it would be a big test to Jaiswal against some great Australian quick bowlers, but not the most extreme step of that difficulty that he had to face in South Africa. I think it will be a bit fine here in Australia. But hey, a comprehensive win for India, and that's pretty much it. It was an expected outcome 4-1. I thought with the way the first test match went out, I thought it would be 3-2. There was a possibility of that happening, which almost did, but kudos to India. Without Kohli, without Shami, and Ashwin for a day, he had to leave back to Chennai, and then he had to come back.
Without without
Again,
KL
James
Rahul
Anderson
also.
with 700 wickets. Yeah, no KL Rahul. James Anderson being the third bowler in history to pick up 700 Test match wickets, the first fast bowler to pick 700 wickets in Test cricket. 187 Test matches. That longevity is unreal with his fitness and everything.
Unbelievable.
The dedication
Yeah.
he's shown, and yeah, that would be pretty much it.
He's
Yes.
going to be number two pretty soon. He said about eight or seven
Yes.
wickets away from Shane Warne's
Yeah.
record.
Yep,
He will. He will. I think at this point, I think this summer will be the last of James Anderson, in my opinion. That could be, or
I don't think so, bro.
maybe,
I don't think so.
maybe.
I think so.
I don't think so.
We'll
I
see.
think
We'll see. We'll
The
see.
one thing that we cannot discuss about is Anderson's retirement because we never know when
Bro,
it's
it's
going to
almost
happen.
like Dhoni and it's almost like Dhoni and
Mm.
Anderson, bro. They keep playing whenever they want, man. They keep playing at
Yeah.
2045 when Anderson with his crutches playing against Ake Kohli. That also will happen.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, bro, he's
Anyway,
What
if you
what
look at
what
it,
what
if
Rake
you look
Kohli?
at it,
Ake
Oh
Kohli, Virat
son.
Kohli's son.
Oh son.
Yeah,
but bro,
I know.
the
Even
reason why
70
I
years old
say
by the time he plays.
the reason why I say it may not be his last few test matches, especially this summer, because if you look at around the world, there is the only closest bowler who's in touching distance to break Murali's record is Anderson. If you look at it, I mean, I don't see Ashwin going that far. I think Ashwin will break Kumble's record. That I think will happen for sure. Maybe if he's playing Test cricket for 2 more years. I mean, I think Ashwin will play even more than that, man, because he's just playing Test cricket as of now, and maybe the occasional one day, maybe the occasional limited overs. You know, the limited over schedule he might have.
I
It
think
depends, but
Ashwin's limited overs is over, man. I feel
I mean,
Ashwin's
even I
limited
thought
overs.
that before the World Cup, but he was selected. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I
just giving it as a I'm just giving it as a slight chance for him to play
Yeah.
limited overs, but it's
Anyway,
only very minor.
one
But it's
thing,
only very minor.
one word, one word I like to give it to all the to Ajit and to all the people. Mahapatlam, according to the great person,
Chika.
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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mahapatlam Atta. Yeah.
Mahapatlam. I'm
What
told
was
in the
Mahapatlam again?
first
What was Mahapatlam again?
Mahapatlam, bro. If you look at Chiki Chika, he would keep saying Mahapatlam. No,
Yeah.
That
For
means
what?
Patlam,
For what
complete,
did you say?
complete
complete,
decimation, complete
complete
decimation.
decimation.
Okay. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, I agree
So
with
I
that.
know what it
That's what I was
means. I'm asking
admitting.
for what he's saying.
I mean, yeah, but
Oh,
that's what it
okay.
is. I admit, but that's what it is. I admit that the thing was The first test match it worked because England actually used Bazball effectively. Their strategy was effective. They were in the right track what they were doing. But again,
It's it's
the
more
last few
on.
matches.
I tell you what. It's more on India's downfall, rather than India. England's batting has done well, but it's more on the India's bowling and the strategy and the tactics which Rohit Sharma has implemented. That is one of the reasons why
That is true.
England came back to the game.